I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Life at home was rough. I was the black sheep of the family. I didn't get a lot of love at home. I have dark skin, a gap in my teeth. I was teased a lot, but I was always super smart. I had straight A's, was valedictorian. All my teachers loved me. They paid for my field trips. I found a lot more love at school than I ever did at home. I was never a follower. I signed applications to all the top art schools in New York, not just where my friends were going, and I was accepted to all of them. I chose to go to art and design. My sophomore year, I was suddenly kicked out of school for a fight. I was sent back to my zone school, and I only stayed there for a few weeks before I dropped out. I was used to teachers who cared about me, but the zone school was completely different. There were kids in classes that weren't supposed to be there. No one cared about anything. It just wasn't the right place for me. I moved out of my mom's house by the time I was 14, got my own job, my own apartment, and I finished my diploma when I was 20. Then I started working for the construction union. I didn't have anyone growing up, so I noticed people's hurt. I know how it feels to not feel good. I feel people's pain and I want to take it from them. I know the influence that my teachers had on me by seeing me, by caring for me, so I do that for others. I always take people into my home. I took people off the streets, people who were having a tough time in the neighborhood. There was a young boy who had lost his family. Everyone in the neighborhood was worried about him. They asked me to take him in, so of course, I took him in. One day I woke up to the police at my door. They claimed they had a warrant and came inside. It turned out that the boy that I had taken in had a gun. The police found it and we were both arrested. The police claimed that my home was strewn with drugs and bullets when they came in. They produced pictures of bullets all over my home and plates of drugs on my tables. I was shocked. They were completely fake. I felt sick when I first saw them. I was charged with possession of drugs and owning a gun. The prosecutor said that they would let me off if I testified against the boy and admitted to letting him use my home as a stash house for his drugs. I refused because it wasn't true. When they arrested me, no one asked me whether the gun was mine. By the trial, it didn't matter. I was ultimately convicted of possessing the gun despite all of the contradictions in the evidence against me. I later learned that the police officers who testified at my trial, the ones who produced the fake pictures, had been found guilty by Civilian Complaint Review Board for tampering with evidence. I will never understand why they were allowed to testify against me, why the judge believed them over me. The judge wouldn't let me tell my story. He didn't want to tarnish the police's name. Instead, he tarnished mine. I want to have a child, but I won't be home until I'm 38, 39. I'll have to get back on my feet after I leave here, get a job, establish my own life again, and that'll be hard enough as it is. I know I won't be able to have a child now. They've taken a lot that I wanted out of life. My mom is getting old. Despite all we've been through, she's the strongest woman I've ever known. I've never seen her cry before, but now I hear that's all she does since I've been imprisoned. I just want to get out of here and see her. I don't belong here. I cry a lot. My nights are very hard, especially dealing with being so lonely knowing that I don't belong here. I'm really bitter. The only thing that gives me any life is church and singing. People say I act like a big kid all day. I'm singing, laughing, telling jokes. I have to keep from crying all day. Because if I do, I'll get sick. And with the lack of medical resources within these prison walls, if I'm sick, there's no one here who can take care of me. And I can't let that happen. This is the story of Evelyn, one of the women incarcerated at FPC Danbury.